So the psychology of the Buddhas, essentially how to get out of the prison of the mind, where modern psychology is concerned with the structure of the mind, how to find our own mind. He talks about mind as something that's fed into us as children, conditioning, beliefs, and so on. It's not our own mind, and probably most of us here are aware of that to one degree or another. Mind is needed. Mind got us here. We need a mind for analyzing, seeing distinctions, planning, but it's not the whole story. And we need our own individual mind, not something that's been fed to us by our society or religion. The psychology of the Buddha's understanding is that we can't know truth through the mind, that we have to be cleared of the mind, and then only can we know our home, our soul, as he puts it. And that what we call awareness, witnessing, watching, noticing, inner observing, whatever you like to call it, is absolutely key, because the focus is not on the other, not on the trigger, but oneself. For example, anger. Not that someone's pressed your button and that you're angry, so perhaps challenging the person, privately blaming them or reacting to them, but turning the energy around 180 degrees, coming back to oneself where the anger is. As he often says, someone can't provoke anger in you, they can't make you angry unless you have that anger inside. They can't just come and put it in your mouth. It's there. You know, a Buddha, for example, can't be made angry. There is not that degree of unconsciousness in him, by definition. So awareness, watching inside, is coming back to ourselves and noticing that anger. Now, out of that, we might then find a place where we can consciously release that anger. But it's about bringing consciousness to that observation. It's about taking responsibility for our anger. So, moving on, there are whole chapters in the book about one devoted to consciousness, unconsciousness, and wholeness. One on awareness as the key. He uses the analogy of darkness and light, that darkness is not an entity in itself. If a room is dark, you don't set about doing battle with the darkness. You turn on the light, and then darkness is dispelled. It's not a problem. Similarly, with meditation, not working directly with the unconscious, bringing in the light of consciousness. So this is a very big difference from psychology. He talks about the limit. There's a whole chapter on the limitations of the scientific approach. Basically, what we've been saying is that science is an objective study, and that's not what meditation is about, or finding our central selves. Very quickly, about therapy. Now, I practice therapy and meditation myself in my work wherever I am in the world. In Pune, where I go to the Osho International Meditation Resort yearly, I run workshops there and individual sessions, and my work is a combination of my psychotherapeutic skills and experience combined with my own experience of meditation and what I've learned from Osho. And under that umbrella, I have a very whole package, I think, with which to work with a client. He talks about the difference between a patient coming to you as a therapist and a disciple coming to a master. That basically the patient's coming because they feel or they're perceived as having a problem, something wrong with them. A disciple comes to a master to learn. And he says, actually, therapy, real therapy, is about learning or unlearning wrong ways of being. The therapist is an expert in his field, but he has personal problems. The master has none. He's beyond problems. The therapist's perception of the client and his issue and how that might best be dealt with is necessarily going to be clouded by his own unconsciousness, his prejudices, his biases. The master has none. His look is direct and unencumbered with any personality, with any agendas, subtexts. And finally, he says, when a therapist looks at you, the patient, that look reduces you. When a master looks at his disciple, it's a heart-to-heart connection.